Welcome to Moonbase 2.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Moonbase 2 podcast. My name is Andy Kerbickman at TFW, and I'm joined this week by the tall lady himself. It's Mikey G. Wolf V3. Hello, Mikey.
I'm actually quite short.
I know.
You're taller than me. You are closer to being the tall lady. You don't have quite the backside, though, to
You
pull
don't
it
know.
off.
Lockdown's being cruel.
No.
What kind?
I was going
I
to
don't
say, Andy, that backside is not cruel. If you had that backside, you would be putting it up on Instagram or Facebook, every media you could, saying, by God, look at this.
Look at the booty.
Look at the booty.
Yeah, because the Village is out now, if you didn't know, as everybody's playing it on stream at the moment.
Yes, I've only seen a few clips, mostly of people screaming.
I've been watching a playthrough from Max, and I think her part is the weakest part of the game so far from what we've seen. Yeah, the game does not do well for its combat, but then again, Resident Evil 7 was not really good for its combat.
Well, it wasn't.
It's way better when it's just walking around and exploring and soaking in the atmosphere. That's where the strength of the game is.
Yeah, that's something I was kind of curious. That's why I was kind of curious, because the one thing I have heard is that the game is a bit more run and gun than straight horror, like 7 was. And 7 didn't have great combat.
No.
So I'm kind of curious to see how it transferred over.
No, it's about the same. There's also seems to be a bit of jank with the hardcore mode. Specifically, there's some there's framed. You know the Fly Witch ladies.
Yeah, the other vampire, the vampire wives.
Yeah, whenever they do their fly attack, the frame drops seem to really kick in quite hard across all consoles and PCs. There's some weird frame stutter as well when you get a headshot and they explode. There's like a 1 frame freeze up for a second. There's some just weird little bits here and there, which maybe will get smoothed out, maybe won't. But the big driving force are each of the characters are kind of interesting. So it's good, but it doesn't really compel me to buy it. Kind of like with 7, I was never really interested in playing it because I didn't think it looked very fun to play personally.
I just don't play a lot of horror, to be honest. Or at least not like straight horror. I like psychological horror and stuff like that, but I've never been one for jump scares. I don't know. Doesn't seem great.
There's one really good jump scare in there.
I know. I'm not saying there's not good jump
one
scares.
good one.
Jump scares aren't my thing.
No, well, most of the time I would say jump scares are cheap and lazy, but there was one where I was like, oh, that was well done. That was a good one. That was a good, thoughtful one, where most of the time a jump scare is just like, ugh, there it is. Okay, well done. I wouldn't say Resi is about the jump scares for the most part.
No, it's atmospheric.
Yeah.
One person told me it was the lore, and I did a lot of blinking, and just like, the lore is the most overwrought nonsense.
It's Capcom lore. Capcom don't do lore well.
it's every game does something else crazy and dumb, and I that's not bad in isolation, but by God, don't tell me it's all interlinked.
No, I mean you can, but you can't tell me that it's like a coherent, sensible story. It's like saying, "Hey, Devil May Cry, you buy those for the lore," and it's like, no, you don't.
You buy those because it's fucking crazy,
and you hope that they do dumb shit in it, and you go, "Wow, that's some fun dumb shit."
Yeah.
You don't buy it because you're like, man, I look forward to the next bad guy. Oh, it's Virgil again.
Virgil, fuck off. No, it's my spot.
Yeah.
Next game, next time I'm assuming it'll be just Nero, but
I guess so. Yeah. I still think them fighting evil Sparta would be fun, or at least do something.
Yeah, like have Sparta have a personality would be nice.
Because we've never seen Sparta.
Well,
never.
Let's be honest, we know nothing about him.
No, or his wife, really. The most we got was in 5.
We know he used to be bad.
Yes.
And then he wasn't.
Yeah. I guess the generic thing would be because he fell in love with Lady, I guess.
Yeah, which is like, okay, so what happened to him? Did he die?
Didn't he seal the portal between the mortal realm and the underworld?
Yeah, but
with him inside, and
they've
then
said
nothing said.
They've said a different thing every time they bring it up.
Oh my god. Okay. Yeah. Lore. It's not super important. It's Street Fighter, Mighty. Jesus, just don't bother.
No. All I care about from Street Fighter. There's a good, stupid, fun movie that's that's bad. But
yes.
all I care about for me, it was Tuesday.
Yeah, no, it was a good time.
Which is just such a good line in such a bad movie.
Quick change the channel. That's a pretty good line as well. Yeah.
Mm.
But we're here to talk about Transformers, Mikey, this week, as per usual. There's a minuscule amount more than last week, but again, not a huge swath. What can you do, Mikey? Shall we kick off with some news?
We can.
All right, Mikey. DNA Designs do the DK-03 and the DK-03J. These are rifles for Titan's Return Fortress Maximus, and LGEX Maximus. So that,
did you forget his name?
Who?
Fortress Maximus, and it had that vibe of just like, what's the rest of it?
It's because my eyes were drifting over to LG before I finished reading Fort Max's thing. So what are these? These are just Red Gun and Blue Gun. Do you remember Red Gun, Mikey? Do you remember Blue Gun?
I remember a gun.
Yeah, well, these are styled after the G1 toy. Would you believe it or not? So
I'm vaguely remember it came with a gun, but I've always kind of thought of Fort Max's main. Like when I think of Fort Max and guns, I think those big chest cannons.
Okay.
Don't really think of him with a handgun.
I do, because I'm looking over to my left and I can see my G1 figure with his gun there, and I'm like, hello.
That's not the same. He's looking at you.
Well, no, technically he's hiding behind a bookcase, but I can see his gun poking out the side of it.
Is he trying to assassinate you?
I've tried to put him in a spot where he won't get hit by direct sunlight. You know, the mortal enemy of the aged toy.
So, what a wonderful toy to own. You will never see the light. You will only experience the dark. And now he's just like leaning out to shoot you so he can be free.
Not direct light, anyway.
Like, he's just like, I want to see the sun. No, you will devalue.
I want to be free. I want to break free.
You can just see a gun leaning out.
Yeah, it's literally there's Xing Mazinger who's on his knees with his hands up, screaming basically as well, with the gun kind of slightly pointed at him. I don't know why I posed him like that, but that's the way that they're posed. Hey, what can you do?
Because he's the Go Nagai character. He's realized what he is.
He knows.
Oh, God.
If you're worried about the hands and how grippy it will be, it says, do not worry. It is compatible with the original crappy hands. But in the images, they show it with the DK-05 set, which I assume was the hand set.
Cool. I don't remember.
I think that's probably a thing. Or with the 05 set that is coming? I don't know. Either way, you know, you get a gun. If you want a gun, you can get a gun. Mikey, do you like gun? Do you want gun?
I don't want gun, but I respect gun.
Yeah, as long as it's not too expensive. Yeah, fine. Yeah, okay.
I'm not going to complain.
No. Did DNA Design do his Matrix sword, Maximus sword, whatever they called it? I can't remember.
I'm assuming so. That's kind of the first thing everyone goes for.
Yeah, it's like sword, then gun, then shrub.
Didn't the Japanese release come with that?
Yeah, I want to say yes. The Japanese one probably.
Yeah,
did.
Grand Maximus did.
Oh yes. I think just the Japanese version of Fort Max probably must have as well. Surely. So I don't believe the Japanese would have released it without it.
TF Wiki will tell me. Why am I looking at
you write articles for TF Wiki, so it has to be lies.
I edit captions very occasionally, and used to get really 20 years ago got way too excited about the fact, or actually, wow, TF Wiki is fucking old, but nearly 20 years ago got very excited about the fact that oh my god, I can go on and give toy knowledge, and was mostly wrong about what I was typing.
But you mostly write about whenever you've done quizzes at conventions. You are usually the last man standing, only dragged down by your teammates.
Yep. But
Yep.
Japanese release comes with a pair of Master Swords, one for 4. Oh, that's the original toy. What am I looking at? Sword. There we go. Master Sword is available with the San Diego Comic-Con version and the Legends version.
Oh, okay. Obviously.
Which wasn't Metro Titan.
No, no, it should have been though. It was just a Chrome version of not even different. One of the two.
Yeah.
Either way, you can get a goon if you want. Doesn't really say on price or release date, but it's available in the not too distant future. Mikey, do you want to take us on to the next bit of news?
Yeah, YOLO.
What?
Park. YOLO Park. Bumblebee Earth Mode Optimus Prime Plamo model kit gray prototype images. So last week, I think, this was announced and we had a minor thing of just like, oh god, this will cost the world. And then it looked like YOLO Park model kits actually cost about 60 or 70. We now get to see the full thing, and I still think it will cost more than that because this is super detailed.
Yeah, I wonder how the color separation is going to be on the sprues and whatnot. Will there be any painted parts? I don't know.
I would say if this has painted parts and doesn't use stickers, I'm expecting this to come in on at least 100.
Oh, you mean money-wise? Yeah. It seems like
Um,
it would probably be quite expensive, surely.
Yeah, or like I could easily see this being like I said before, I could see this being like perfect grade, but it would
Do we
still
know
be
on
like.
the scale, like how big this is meant to be? Because I'm not sure. I can't really tell from the
No,
pictures.
I don't think
Master
so.
grade-ish, do you think?
30 centimeter tall. There we go.
Oh, what is that inch-wise? That's probably a master grade, right?
That is 30. That's about a foot, isn't it?
I don't know.
Let's see. 30. Yeah, that's about a foot, I think.
I'm not a foot expert. I don't have that weird fetish,
foot.
Mikey.
It's a foot. It's a foot. It's a foot.
Oh my god! So that is big. That is a big kit. Yeah,
It is a human foot.
Oh my god! Like you say, like for this not to be 100, like 1 foot's pretty big.
Yeah,
right?
like that's half the size of the Fort Max in terms of height.
Yeah.
And this is like that's probably in the 144 scale range for like Gundam or something like that, and that is into like high grade, that into like big master grade, perfect grade range.
And clearly, this has a lot of parts because he's got quite a lot of features and quite a bit of articulation too.
Yeah, and I would say expect him to be semi-painted at least. I would be kind of almost insulted if he was stickered.
Oh yeah, I'd be surprised.
Yeah, but I mean, he looks good. He looks very, very detailed. It's up to it's really up in the world if you really want yet another version of Bumblebee Optimus Prime. I would say this is, if I was getting one, I like the look of this more in terms of proportion than some of the other non-transforming versions you can get.
Yeah, like I'm trying to remember back to
like 3-0,
that's
whichever three they are today.
Yeah, I remember trying to remember that one and be like, yeah, okay. I think it's probably both because we have a love for building model kits at the moment, so there is more value for us at least to go for something like this as well, where you could build it if you don't care about building. This still might be a cheaper option. Maybe, depending on how much it comes in at.
Also, it looks better than the masterpiece.
Well,
which doesn't look very good. The more I see.
What do you mean? It looked amazing. To be fair,
were you blind?
In its defense, it is doing something that this doesn't do, which is transform. This doesn't need to worry about that.
I'd rather get the third-party ones that came out.
True, but you and I
be cheaper.
You and I both know that people want these things to transform.
I do, but like the third-party ones that transform, I bet they'd be cheaper than getting a masterpiece as well.
Well, I don't know.
Maybe. How much? What's the average masterpiece price now?
Too much. Too much.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how much the third-party ones are either, but I know the masterpiece ones for the quality are not good. No, probably not. You'd hope not, anyway.
Yeah. So, then again, movie masterpieces tend to be a bit cheaper because they're produced in lower quantity, I will say. That's how I put it. But like this looks very posable, and we don't see much in terms of accessories apart from the fact it's got the 85 style matrix chamber, and it looks like it's got a gun and some hand swaps.
I guess, yeah. It seems like
actually,
it
looks like the fingers are articulated rather than having hand swaps.
Oh, that's even better.
It's difficult to read, actually. Difficult to tell what to think. But I would hope they have hand swaps because he needs punching fingers.
Yeah, punching fingers.
And articulated model kit fingers are always something I'm a little up and down about.
Yeah, because it's getting to the point where the parts are getting smaller and smaller. It gets a little bit dicey.
Yeah. I will take this one as well just because it's nice and quick.
Oh my god.
Takara Tomy have announced new Transformers Premium Finish Collection! The most exciting toys ever made.
Debatable.
Verbatim. Verbatim.
Verbatim.
Exciting toys ever made. So, Andy, what are the Premium Finish collection? They are a Studio Series number 1 Bumblebee, the bad version of Earth Mode Bumblebee from Bumblebee movie, and a Generations GR01 Optimus Prime. So the first one is the Deluxe Bumblebee for SS18. It's now called Studio Series Premium Finish SS01. So it is basically a more actually a less colorful, but like maybe more movie accurate version of Bumblebee. And the next one is the 8th release of the Siege Voyager Optimus Prime, and I'm including retools before someone corrects me. In toon accurate colors, at least it's like vaguely. So it's basically trying to emulate the cartoon's take on him. So, which broadly speaking comes down to adding more grime, which in a Siege figure is an achievement, and making the windows and the front of the cab green and adding more crack marks.
That can't be it. I mean, that's what it looks like, but why on the box is he blue?
Because that's the original.
Oh, okay.
That is not the toy that's in the box.
Oh, that's weird then.
Yeah.
Why green?
Because it is green in the show.
What?
His chest is green in the show with all those weird cracks because no one ever repairs anything on Cybertron.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I thought you meant the G1 cartoon. I was going to call you a dirty liar.
So that's what everyone thought, from what I could see. But hey,
really green in the show in that Netflix show.
Yeah.
Oh my god, I didn't even notice.
I realized when I saw the 3-0 figure.
Oh my god.
And then when I saw Earthrise, I was just like, oh yeah.
Oh my god.
So if you have not bought one of the other 7 opportunities you've had this mold, or you are desperate for a figure that looks more like what you saw on screen and isn't a highly expensive non-transforming figure.
What if I want just another version of Optimus Prime, Mikey?
I mean, if you need another Generation 1 style Optimus Prime...
I do.
I question your priorities in life, but this is your opportunity. Or if you just want to say you bought something that's overly expensive because it's a premium. Because this will cost more than the normal figure. Do not doubt it, even before import or anything else. Any thoughts on these?
Why?
Any other thoughts on these?
I don't know what else to say. I don't understand what the point in either of them are because it doesn't seem to offer anything.
Well, one of them is more like the show,
but it's not like we're not going from a 5 out of 10 color scheme to a 10 out of 10 update. You know, like real grime on, like with a thick triple 3-0 paint job on it. It's just slightly green here and there, and with a bit more mud. I don't get it. It's not Toxitron colors. If it was Toxitron colors, I go, all right, it's different.
Actually, yeah, that's the one major scheme they haven't hit with this, except maybe Ultra Magnus.
Have they not done Ultra Magnus?
Not from this one. He was done.
Really?
He was done as the leader with the armor upgrade, which was a different mold.
I'm still surprised they didn't bother doing just a base repaint.
Nope, he was a different mold. He was then repainted into Optimus Prime.
Oh, well, obviously.
Galaxy Force one.
Well, slightly remolded, I suppose, but yeah, I don't understand. It seems like a lazy repaint for no particular reason. I same for the Bumblebee. I don't know who these are for exactly. Like you say, because the mold for at least Optimus Prime has been out enough times already that surely, if you really wanted it, you would have got it by now. And I don't think this is the color scheme that would convince me or anybody else who hasn't got it already to now jump on board and get it. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe this is specifically for the Japanese audience. I have no idea. What about you, Mikey?
It's a thing.
It is a thing. It's 1,000% a thing.
As I said, you've had 8 other opportunities to get hold of it.
Yep.
7, sorry. I want to get my numbers right. And before someone corrects me, I am including retools. Don't worry. It's just like I am mildly fascinated how much they are not trying not to spend money on the Optimus Prime Megatrons at the moment, just because they're so locked in on this Generation 1 aesthetic for generations.
And do nothing else. Never depart.
So Optimus and Megatron can't be redesigned for later lines because they have to look like G1, which is so. And Optimus at least has to be in every line, and someone called Megatron has to be in every line. But so they've been locked in on the same toy for 3 years now.
But why this one and not the Earthrise one?
Because this was in the cartoon, Andy.
The one that no one liked.
And I'm including the Earthrise one. I'm including the Earthrise one in the retools.
Oh, okay.
So
wasn't the Earthrise one a different mold though?
No, they retooled the chest.
Oh, okay.
It was a very, very good retool, but apart from there's basically a lot of shared parts.
Ah, fair enough. Okay. It's
like
kind of like
the legs are
Megatron.
The legs are incredibly boring on it. The chest is
it's Earthrise Megatron to Siege Megatron.
Exactly. Okay. It's exactly the same scenario, but better. It has to be said. So, I'd still rather have Super Megatron, but he costs more than my god.
Well, they're getting the money's worth out of the molds, I suppose.
But that was a really good retool of a toy no one wanted.
Oh, the Super Megatron, yeah. It'll never happen again. Or if it does, it'll be in the far future.
Yeah, well, we've got... who's next in the Shattered Glass ones? Jetfire?
Oh, God. That's just Jetfire and Jetfire colors, though, again.
No, Jetfire in Shattered Glass is black and purple and blue, I believe.
Is he? Oh, so he's just basically the...
Starscream is Jetfire.
Rodimus. Oh, that's right. Yeah, so Jetfire is basically just in Rodimus colors, right? Shattered Glass Rodimus, I mean. But with blue, yeah.
I don't have a Shattered Glass Rodimus, and I probably should get one.
Should you?
I don't want one.
Is he in Gridman?
Yes.
Okay. Then yeah, I guess
How do you not know that? He's one of the most important characters.
Oh yeah, it's what's his name? That's right. It's been a while. I've only watched Gridman on stream.
What's his name?
I've only watched the show once, Mikey.
I don't care.
You should do. Why don't you care about me?
Because you have failed me, clearly.
Yeah, but you should be used to that by now. Shall we move on, Mikey?
Yes, let's.
Oh, actually, any info on when these things are coming out, or is that kind of up in the air as well?
Up in the air, I believe.
Okay. Not that it really matters, but fair enough. Okay, Mikey, we have rumors of a Transformers Generation Select Deluxe figure, new listing, only as Alabama.
Sweet.
Alabama man.
Gonna go Sweet Home Alabama, but sure.
That too, yeah. Can you think of a Transformer related to Alabama?
No, but it's not like these kind of names actually represent anything to do with the toy necessarily.
Not necessarily, but it's a placeholder name, obviously. I like how they have to say that.
Can we think of any traditionally what are they called?
John Jetfire.
The flag. What's the flag called?
Texan.
No. Confederate flags. So can we think of any traditionally Confederate sounding Transformers?
Australian Jetfire.
Outback?
Oh, that could be. Well, that's Australian as well, but...
Yeah, but that would be more IDW Outback in terms of personality.
Mm-hmm.
Remember when everyone was sad when he died and then we met him?
Yeah.
It turned out, you were a prick.
Yeah. Maybe they should... I don't know. Maybe they shouldn't have expanded on that.
John Barber, it was a continuity thing. No, it was left there, Andy. You knew how this was going to go.
Yeah, no, that's true. That is true. The price for the figures $29.99 CAD and $24.41 USD. So I'm guessing this is kind of, deluxe prices, which we know. Apart from that, there's no images. Take this with a grain of salt, they say, until we have an image confirmed.
They always say that, but they never do.
Well, people, you mean? People never take it with a grain of salt. Yeah, that's people and anticipation and hope and hype. I don't think there's really anything else to cover there. So there's even more Transformers Cyberverse Season 4 listings at Walmart, Mikey.
Woo!
Cyberverse Warrior Season 4. What?
Give me a trailer.
No trailer. Only toys, only listings.
Andy, it's a bit of Transformers fiction I want to engage with. Give me the fucking trailer.
No.
That's rare these days.
You get the Netflix show, Mikey. Be happy.
Don't want the Netflix show. I want this.
So there's going to be Warrior Snarl, Warrior Dead End, Roland Transform Bumblebee. So I'm guessing that you'll push him and it'll transfer automatically. Roll and combine Megatron. Roll and combine Bumblebee. Roll and combine Wheeljack. And roll and transform, similar to the Bumblebee, Optimus Prime. So I guess the real ones that are really any value are the Warrior Dead End and Snarl. Not deluxe figures, of course, but at least the Warriors might not be poop.
Yeah, no, I'd be interested in getting Snarl. I'm curious, in all honesty, about Megatron listed in here.
The Transform and Combine one.
Because he's dead.
Oh, do you think that matters?
I mean, there is another Megatron called Megatron X, who is an alternate reality big black version. So I to be honest, if you do him, like I would love to see a toy of that design, because that's a really good color scheme on him. But be kind of interesting.
Okay.
Just like since like season 4 is probably just going to be a couple of movies or one movie or two movie or whatever, I would be very surprised if they were doing a lot of like non-show characters.
Yeah, well, you'd be surprised anyway.
Because they just don't have the time. So get as much marketing as you can out of it.
Yeah, and clearly, I'm actually shocked that the Cyberverse toy line's still going.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's getting a movie.
Yeah, but do you feel it's just getting pooped out quickly?
Well, no, definitely not quickly, because this movie's apparently been rumored since a month after season 3 ended.
When I say pooped out quickly, I mean like so they can get onto the next project, because it feels like they're stalling to get all the Netflix done.
It's a weird thing in all honesty. I think what happened was they hoped to have the next project ready by now, and I think COVID threw off their plans, so they had a year where there was going to be nothing on air.
Yeah,
and I think that's where someone suggested my money would be put down. Someone suggested doing Cyberverse roundup movies. And I think that had an effect in it.
It'd be interesting if that was true.
The toys, on the other hand, do maybe undermine that, given toy development stages. But at the moment, an 18-month development time would put you around the time where people started panicking over COVID.
Yeah, probably. It's strange, Mr. Mikey. Very, very strange. But there you go. Nothing else really, I think, to say there. So, what's the last bit of news, Mikey?
Last bit of news. TF Nation is having a Spotlight Online event. They've announced a special guest. So, I thought this was the big broadcast, but this is something else. So,
are they doing the big broadcast as well? That's what I'm not sure about. I'm guessing not, because they haven't talked about it.
Big Broadcast 2021 is happening, I know.
Oh, okay.
But,
so that is happening. Okay.
So I'm going to be looking at the website while I'm looking at this to confirm a lot of information.
Yeah.
Big Broadcast is on in August. So, Spotlight Tanya Gennady. So, she is the voice actress for Miko. This is an opportunity for Transformers fans across the world to enjoy a taste of TF Nation entertainment from the comfort of their own home. There will be various ticket options available for this online event, which will gain you access to segments such as gatherings, watch-alongs, panels, and a live meet and greet with Tanya. Some ticket types will even entitle you to a limited edition art print and exclusive t-shirt. The star of the show is Tanya Gennady, the actress behind the energetic Miko Nakadai from Transformers Prime. The evening will include a special interview where we dive into her background and career. Tickets as they are listed here. I'm just looking online, confirming that the tickets are for what I think they are. So this is specifically for the Spotlight for Tanya Gennady. So this is not, as far as I know, for Big Broadcast. If it is in any way, please someone correct me. Also, I do not have a date. I'm not seeing a date here. I'm guessing
it would be a similar-ish time.
Let's just check schedule. No date or anything. Hang on, let's see. Because I think it would be very strange to be selling tickets to an event when we don't know it's on.
That's nuts.
Attendee details. No, this does not give a date. So if someone happens to know it, please tweet us or something like that. So anyway, so you're going to have 3 tiers, Scraplet, Viacon, and Wrecker. Scraplet will get you a pre-show Zoom gathering, a watch-along, presumably of a Miko-related episode, access to the Spotlight Tanya Gennady, which is going to be an interview, ability to pre-submit questions, which will be vetted for possible use. So be aware, if you submit questions, they may not be used, and a post-show Zoom gathering. So this is going to be a few hours, and it's going to be £15. Next up, we have the Viacon class, which is all the above, including a TFN artwork by Ed Peary, signed by Tanya, and will be posted to you after the event. This will be £40. And the last tier is £60, and this will get you the art print, private meet and greet with Tanya. It will only be 2 to 3 minutes, so do not think you're sitting down there for 20 minutes having a chat about your day. And a Wrecker style T-shirt, which is So this is the art print is a print of Miko in the armor, and then her with her guitar by Ed, and then the T-shirt is that image on a T-shirt.
Okay. Have we seen what the artwork looks like?
Yeah, I'm looking at it. It's on their website.
Okay.
I'll link you. It's okay. It's not my style. Like, Ed's a very talented artist, but his stuff is just frequently not a style I love. But that's not a comment on his ability. If you want to buy the T-shirt or the print without attending, you can get an unsigned copy of the artwork for £5. You can get a digital copy for £5, a physical copy for 10. You can get a T-shirt for 20 each, and you can get a meet and greet recording. A meet and greet will be recorded and sent to you after the event, so you can get her to say hello to you. Like I said, last year it was the big broadcast, which was a live event on Twitch, if I remember.
I think you're right. I mean, if you were asking me, I think you're right.
And I believe it was basically free attendance. Since this isn't big broadcast, I am curious to see what's going to come out about big broadcast, or if this is included as part of the broadcast itself, and like part of it. Okay, now attendees switch over to Zoom call or whatever. So, I mean, the big question here is, do you feel you are seeing a value for money? I think at the £15, I would like to see something extra, like a little doodly bob or like a pen or something small, a small bit of merchandise to add in that would be very cheap to produce. As it is, you're basically paying £15 for an hour-long interview or something like that, which it's up to you whether or not you think that's enough. And like a pre and post Zoom gathering, which will knowing the lads just sort of be a chat, which you'll probably be more observing than interacting with. I could do it for the 15. I probably won't, just because I've never been like big into the interview side of TF Nation. Like if I meet the stars of the show, I prefer to just sit down with them in the pub and have a chat.
Yeah, I mean, I think me and you've said it multiple times that we go for chatting with friends and stuff like that rather than,
Yeah, like I like the fact that once you, me, and it was Jamie, we all ended up sitting at a table with Townsend Coleman and just like having peanuts and drinks and having a chat.
Yeah,
like that was a really good afternoon, and it was just like, that's one of the things that's great about TF Nation, just that freedom. Above that, I'm not super comfortable with some of the pricing. Like I was looking at TF Nation 2018, their prices for like, again, a weekend event, which would not only give you access to guests, it gave you access to vendors and other like events and panels during the day. And their weekend ticket was £60.
Yeah,
like I know you're getting like merchandise with this as well, and like the cheapest day ticket there was £30 for the TF Nation. So if you were just going there for a full day, it would still cost you more than the cheapest here. But I feel you got more for your money there, and yeah, like I just don't think the 60 is equivalent to the 60 you would have paid for the live show.
Yeah.
And like I said, you are getting art, you are getting a T-shirt, and you're getting an opportunity to talk to the guest. But traditionally, TF Nation doesn't charge you to talk to the guests. It's all part of the package.
Mm-hmm.
And you have access to 7, 8, 9 guests for the money you're paying. And then you have the option to buy and everything else. And I don't know. Like, I think intellectually, like when I'm really, really intellectual, I can see where that money is going in terms of paying the costs to have Tanya take part in it, paying for the prints, paying for T-shirts and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And also, like, I'm very aware that TF Nation made absolutely zero money last year and is probably in severe need of having some cash in the pocket for next year. But when I go for like my gut feeling and my more emotional side of it, I am just of a feeling I do not see myself willing to pay this kind of money for what's on offer.
No. Do you think it may have been a better idea to have go with me here, a higher price, but with someone a little bit more known?
I don't know,
like a bigger G1 voice actor who, no offense to Tanya, but she doesn't strike me as the especially as a returning guest as well, doesn't strike me as a big pull, right?
It's an odd one because for a certain generation of fans, like Prime is a big deal.
Oh yeah, totally.
But like Miko is the most controversial character from there. And why Tanya, last time she was there and we saw her, she seemed lovely.
Oh yeah, totally. Yeah.
It is one of those moments where I'm just kind of like, that is the one character in that you could turn people off with, except maybe Raph. If you got Raph in, people would be like, ugh.
Even then, it's a human character as well, right? It's
yeah,
not it's not Bulkhead or Starscream.
Yeah, but like, if you got your man, oh God, what was his name? The main human guy. He's played by the guy who plays Spider-Man and stuff. Looks like he's a big name voice actor, Josh. Something. Yeah. So he would be like, just have him, human or not, like that's a big deal.
All I could think about when I was trying to think of his name was Big Sister RC, and that was it.
Yeah, same here. Just RC threatening him with all everything. And then loving him and threatening him while loving him.
Oh no, she's Tall Lady from Resident Evil.
Yeah, kind of. I don't know. What's your thought? What is like your thoughts? Because like I said, I'm a little like left and right in this.
Yeah, like you, I can see kind of where the money would be going, but I don't desperately like it either. You know, it feels, I don't want to see it feels wrong, but there's just something that I don't like about it when I see it, and I definitely don't think you're getting any kind of money value even out of the £15 one, because a Zoom Skype call, you can have one of those with your friends anyway.
Yeah, but the argument would say to that was that it's not with your friends.
Ooh.
A guest you normally wouldn't have any access to.
No, but that's for I mean the Zoom call with for the £15 one.
Oh, just the pre and the post kind of thing.
Yeah. Which that's the one I mean, where it's just like I'm just having a chat on Zoom with people I don't know. Cool.
I don't have Zoom.
No.
I'd have to get Zoom to do this.
No, I wasn't.
I've never had a reason to get Zoom.
No, I know.
Like anyone I know uses either Skype or Teams.
Yeah, it doesn't seem to, from my perspective, doesn't really seem to give anything extra. Yes, me, but never mind. Not really the point, I guess. Yeah, I just don't. It leaves kind of a weird taste in my mouth when I think about this, I suppose.
Listen, we're in exceptional times, so like obviously,
and like we said, you and I are both not in for guests. So if you're in for the guests and you want to talk to Tanya, then this is. Yeah. I guess this is a way to do it.
Yeah, absolutely. And like I said, the £15 option, with a lot of freedom. Also, I'm just after noticing Billy, who is kind of the TF Nation go-to guy, did a breakdown Twitter thread on the issue. So I'm just scrolling through. They've got a Patreon now. TF Nation has a Patreon, which has some money coming in, but like he's confirming here that the Spotlight is a companion piece to what's going to be the centerpiece, which is Big Broadcast, which is going to be a free event. So yeah, this is basically, we need to make sure that we have finances in the pocket, so we can give you a full show when we can all meet up again. Which is fair. Which is like, apps. I am not knocking Billy or anyone else on the team at TF Nation. I've known them all for years, and I'm sure they have a numbers pad that shows like, we need to make X this year to be able to afford next year. And I'm not like I said, I'm not assuming anyone there is out for themselves or anything like that. It's just one of those things where like I do with Transformers these days. I kind of just look at everything like, would I pay that? And like I said, like, you could probably convince me with the 15 if it was someone I was really interested in. But like I said, like, what I always liked was the ability to just, hey, you're in the bar, meet people you know, meet people you don't know. Some of those people you don't know happen to be guests.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
So that's something I always prefer. Yeah. Like I didn't fully stop attending the Saturday events. Like, I will go to them occasionally because they're usually pretty fun. But I realized I just wasn't, like, the script reading and everything else and stuff like that. I lost interest in that years ago. So, I mean, hopefully my scenario will be in a good place next year, so I actually will be able to attend physically. Yeah. And we'll all be vaccinated up and everything else, so I will hopefully go next year, but it is one of those things where I'm kind of like, as a guy who's been doing this for a very, very long time, I would want a little bit more when I'm handing over money for an online event.
I would agree.
And again, like, unique perspective and everything else. I'm not, like,
sure.
A lot of people are, I'm sure, very, very happy with this, and thumbs up.
It's just not for me or you, basically. Definitely.
Yeah.
Alright, there we go. I'm not sure there's anything else to say, really, is there?
I don't know. You might have opinions. You can have opinions of your own.
No, I think you've pretty much covered it all. I can't really think of anything else that's not being covered at this point.
I believe you can think for yourself, Andy.
I don't. Not at this time of night. Shall we? I mean, that's the last bit of news. So that's it, Mikey. Is it worth talking about what you did this week? Have you been up to anything fun?
Yeah, I did a bit. Been building the high grade Gundam full crossbone. Halfway through, I should get the arms finished tonight.
You've been in the process of painting it as well, haven't you?
Oh my god, just a cape. And it has been the big, like, I haven't even done that much, but like, it has, like, the red I have is the wrong red. And it's been a bitch to put on. I've been trying to clean it up, and I've been cleaning it up too soon, or not cleaning it up properly, so I've had to redo lots of stuff, and then, like, bits and pieces started gunking in some areas, so I had to clean it all off and do it again, and blah, 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 and I started losing my temper, and it took me 2 days to get the bloody cape done. But it's done now, so I've got the upper body basically done, bar one arm. And I'm like, yeah, it's a retool of the original Crossbone X1 mold, so there's nothing hugely new in the build, apart from the cape and a few bits and bobs. But yeah, I'm enjoying it, and it happens to be my favorite Gundam, so I am not sad. Like, I am a big fan of my old Crossbone boy. So yeah, no, it's fun. There's not much to add to that. I have been playing near. Well, actually, I did 2 game things. First was I did the DLC for Witcher 3. Heart and Stone I thought was fairly standard, fairly forgettable, which is weird because when I was looking at reviews, people were saying like it was the best option, and I was just like, okay.
Was that the first one to come out, that DLC? Okay.
Yeah, so that was basically some extra missions. There's some new characters. A lot of people like the villain for that. I find him very generic. Because it's basically like, oh, unknowable evil. It's the devil.
Oh my god.
And like the antagonist for that is pretty bland. There's some fun stuff in it. There's some, like, again, some people love him, and I'm just like, he's pretty every generic would be bad guy there ever been really in these kind of games. But The actual world is pretty enjoyable. Like, there's some fun. There's a lot more fun in these missions than there would be in some other ones. But they're nothing special. They're nothing really stand out. Blood and Wine, on the other hand, which is the big DLC and the last one, that's basically another game.
Wow. You mean in terms of scale?
Yeah. It's got a map about the third of the size of the main map, so it's got a brand new map.
Mm-hmm.
So it's big. It's got a ton of new missions. It's got some new gaming mechanics. It's intended to be the last Geralt story as well. So it's intended to be his capper.
Right. Would you say it does the job well? Does it do well for his end?
Better. Okay, honestly, I think it's better than the main game. I like it. I would have bought Blood and Wine solo because it's also like it's 20-30 hours of game.
Wow, what, the DLC?
The DLC.
That's impressive.
If you did everything, if you did all the side quests and everything else.
Yeah, but I'm guessing like those 20-30 hours are not just like find all the flags, race the magic pig. That kind of stuff,
there is a fair bit of that. Let's be honest. But
no,
because that's the structure of a Witcher game,
right?
But they're very good world building quests, and most of them, like even if the quest actions aren't fun, the writing around the quests are usually quite fun. And the main story is great. The main story, it's much tighter than Witcher 3. It makes more sense than Witcher 3. It's got a fantastic secondary character in Regis. Regis is wonderful. It really delves into the idea that the non-human species, like all the species in this planet, bar like what is it, elves, dwarves, and something else, came over. They're from other worlds and other universes. And it's very focused on vampires, and it deals with like how vampires perceive the world when they came over, and how it's affected them mentally and their culture. You get a lot of vampire culture. You have a semi-two-dimensional villain. You've got two main villains. One's fairly deep. She's kind of a rip-off of someone else. And the other one, he's fairly two-dimensional as a character, but you learn a lot about him through the character of Regis, which adds a lot of weight to him. And he has the best boss fight in the game. He has a way better... Like, his final boss fight is so much better than the final boss fight in the main game.
Oh, wow.
Because the final boss fight in the main game...
That's good and sad?
Yeah, the final boss fight in the main game is basically a stronger version of enemies you've already been fighting.
Wow.
The final boss fight in Blood and Wine is 3 stages, 3 different aspects, 3 different approaches.
You mean an actual boss fight then?
Yeah, and very solid ending, much better ending in terms of like completeness and emotional depth. Like the game really revolves around the relationship between Geralt and Regis, and it really works from that. There are 3 possible like good, bad, and terrible endings. Mm-hmm. I kind of got the terrible one.
No,
and because it turns out that the whole part of the game that you miss if you don't say the right thing at one point, like a whole other explorable region.
Wow, that's a little bit annoying.
Which you need to get the best ending, and I was just like, oh no.
Is it one of those things where it's an obvious line?
No, it's like you have to make a moral choice, and based on your choice, you can get the okay or bad ending, or if you make the other choice, you get the good ending.
That's a bit annoying.
And I made what I thought was the right choice, and it wasn't.
You were wrong.
I was wrong. But
should I kill this baby, Mikey? Yes. The game. No.
Kill the baby. Look, the baby looked at me funny. But yeah, no, I would really recommend Blood and Wine almost over the main game.
Wow.
It is basically Witcher 3 2. And I liked it a lot more. In all honesty, I was surprised. Like, I don't love Witcher 3, and I don't love Blood and Wine, but I do really like it.
Yeah, I was going to say, even though you didn't love it, you still did enjoy the base Witcher game.
Yeah, no, I thought the base was a solid 8, Blood and Wine's a 9. And Heart and Stone, I don't know what people are talking about, because I would call that a 6 or a 7. It's very forgettable.
Okay.
Especially in comparison, like, honestly, more like a 5 or a 6. It's just like, okay, a few extra missions and a bland devil ripoff. Cool. The other main game thing was I have been playing Nier Replicant, which is the remake of the 2010 game that spun off of Drakengard and led into Nier Automata.
Yes, you'd only kind of just started tapping into that last week, hadn't you?
Yeah. So I finished Route A today, actually.
Oh my god.
and there are 4 other. There were 3 other routes, but they added an extra ending.
Now, when you say extra routes, does that mean you have to play the entire game again, a la
No,
Ultima?
you're playing the game again, but you're not playing the whole, because the game is divided into 2 parts. So you're starting from part 2, which means once you finish the game, because apparently there's no level select, you can never go back to the first part without starting a new game. Which
Yoko Taro.
Yoko Taro. So you're playing part 2 only. But like I have made a start in Route B, and the way they're making it bigger and doing something that Nier Automata didn't do is that like there's a lot more context and a lot more focus on enemies and motivations. So there's lots of new character stuff already, and there's also a lot of focus on Kaine and her backstory.
Okay.
Which is added in. Like this is where you find out that Kaine is an intersex person. Or at least it's strongly hinted at. It's not 100% said because this was written in 2010 and they wouldn't get away with it. But also Emil's gay, which is something I didn't realize. But like because it was like Kaine's been seen as a freak by people since she was a child, and then some bad shit happened to her and she was seen as more of a freak. But Yoko Taro wrote a big piece, I saw it today, a big piece about like why Kaine dresses the way she does. Which is basically like she is an extreme person, so she took her gender expression to the extreme.
Okay.
Which is a very, very forward-thinking way of justifying having an extremely feminine character with big boobs and running around in lingerie. So, but yeah, so it's a good game. It is a good game. I will agree with some reviews I've seen. The first half, part 1, is the weakest part of the game. It's very straightforward. There are quests and stuff in there, but really most of them, like there's a few that do have some good character writing and stuff, but most of them are about like gathering items, and most of those items, like you either farm them, or you buy them, and you'd be better off buying them a lot of the time. The combat is fun. It's not as good as Nier Automata.
Okay.
It's not platinum. But it is like clearly better than what the original gameplay was.
Yeah.
I will say the enemies in part 2 are much, much harder to fight. Even the smallest, weakest enemies are much, much harder to fight.
In terms of what?
They have an armor system in part 2, which you have to break, which is not the easiest thing to do when you've got 20 enemies swarming you at once.
Okay.
So it is quite challenging. I'm playing on hard as well. I'm purposely playing on hard. But yeah, story is good. Story gets, like, part 1 is all set up. Part 2, story kicks off, a lot of character, a lot of emotion, find out a lot about Emil, find out a lot about Nier. Despite the fact you can name Nier after anyone, he's a fully realized character. He's not the deepest character in the world. Basic story is him wanting to heal his sister, and then there's these monsters called Shades that exist in the world, and being Yoko Taro, it's about to get very complicated. Yeah, I like how Route A ended. It was oddly upbeat for a Yoko Taro Route A ending.
You mean for the moment?
For the moment, yeah. But like, for the moment, just like, this is happier than I was expecting.
Concern builds.
Yes, just like, oh no, this is gonna get bad soon. And yeah, I would say like a letdown is the map, because it's just not very big. And you do a lot of backtracking.
Right. Well, isn't it better that the map's not big then? Because if you're doing lots of backtracking, then it means that you're not just wasting time.
You basically just run through the same areas doing nothing.
Okay.
Except stopping to fight, like, and do a bit of grinding.
Yeah.
Like, it's not like the maps are small, but there's lots to do in them. And like I said, the quests, especially in part 1, are not super great. They do get better in part 2, because part 2 is dealing a lot more with the world. It's very much a game of two halves. It's very, very much a game of two halves. But I am enjoying it, and like, I have no objection to playing back over and seeing the extra stuff that's being stuck in now, because like the extra stuff I've seen, even after just like, I think I played an hour of Route B, was really, really interesting. So I am really liking it. I still have only a vague sense of what's going on, and I'm very curious about the new ending, because it originally was routes A, B, C, and D led off into Automata, and it's still that. D still goes off into Automata, but now there's a route E, which apparently is kind of like terrifying to do. So,
why? What do you mean terrifying?
I don't know. I've avoided spoilers. Like, I haven't read any. Like, I know very little about Nier's lore and stuff like that. And I definitely I'm going into this as spoiler free as I can.
Okay.
So I'm curious. I am curious to see how it goes. But yeah, Nier. I think if you liked Automata, you will like this. You will not rate it as highly, but you will like it. And if you're into Yoko Taro's universe, you'll definitely like it. Like Drakengard 3 remake, please. Which reminds me, actually, I'm already starting to see some stuff that's added in the game that I'm sure has been added in. Accord is mentioned once or twice.
That's Drakengard 3 stuff, isn't it? No.
Yeah.
Wait, is it?
No, Accord is a major character.
Is that the time-traveling robot?
Yes.
Is that someone else? Yeah, I thought so.
But Drakengard 3 was released 3 years after the original Nier.
So...
This has to have been added in. This
Probably.
has to have been added in. But I'm just sitting there going, can we see Accord, please? I like Accord.
Yeah, she wasn't in Automata, so...
No, but she was mentioned in Automata. She owned the shops.
That's true, yeah.
But she is such a... do you know much about her?
If I have read up on it, I have forgotten because it has been a bit of time.
Yeah, but she is a Drakengard 3. She was a huge character and really, really, really important. And she is the big link between all of this. As long as she's there, you cannot escape the fact these worlds are all on the same universe, just different timelines.
Yeah.
But no, I like it. TV and anime wise, I'll go through these fairly quickly. Vivi, caught up on all my shows. So Vivi, I am saying Vivi is the best show airing at the moment and probably the best show of the year.
God.
That's not ReZero season 2.
Okay.
And it's by the guy who did ReZero, so that's not really a shock. Episode 5 was excellent. Episode 6 is a complete 180 in terms of tone and everything else and throws you completely off. And I'm really, really curious to see how it plays out. It makes sense why it went the way it did, but by episode 6, we are 60 years into the century.
Oh no. So
we have 40 years left. And yeah, so Diva is 61 years old. So yeah, no, it's a really good show. Excellent, the best looking show as well in years. Cannot recommend it highly enough. Really can't. Watched Demon Lord. That was half kind of the same as the last one. Not similar to Demon Lord. Half the same as last week's, which was not great, and then half of a really fun episode.
Oh, that's half a good thing then, I guess.
Yeah, so it was a bit weird. They tried to do more standard arcs all of a sudden. Right. And it didn't work for them. And then they went back to what they normally do, and that worked a lot better.
Yeah.
So, Thunderbolt Fantasy Season 3, nothing new to add there. Watching it, still very pretty. Actually, this is probably some of the prettiest stuff in the show, full stop. But it was a solid enough episode, a lot of setup. 86 was good, but was an info dump. A very big info dump that really could have been spread out a bit more.
A necessary one, would you say?
I'm not sure. Necessary eventually. I'm not sure it's something you want to do midway through your season.
You think they should have done that before?
I would have said later. I'd say this is something that needs to be handed out piecemeal.
Okay.
Because it was basically a huge... There's 2 minutes of non-stop talking, and it's just this huge, And these concepts being laid out are ones that I'm sure people would take time to process individually, let alone all at once.
Yeah. Is it making you again concerned about the quality of the show? Because we've talked about the kind of
not concerned. I'm not concerned about it, but I am just okay, that just felt like someone wanted to get way too much out of the way at once.
Okay.
Way too much. What else? Oh god, there's something else in Crunchyroll that I'm completely forgetting. But I did watch episode 6 of Dynazenon.
Oh.
That was a everyone gets their emotions kicked episode. There's some dark stuff in there, there's some interesting stuff, and then it ends in a way that made me nearly fall off my chair and go, holy shit.
Oh, we're at the halfway point now, aren't we? So
yeah,
I guess it's about time that something kind of happened.
The halfway point just kicked you in the teeth and said, listen! And yes, I can definitely say it's in continuity with Gridman.
Okay.
And yeah, I got very, very excited.
Is it to do with the sister?
No.
Okay. I had a theory.
It is a returning character.
Okay.
A rather large one. Literally. I don't want to spoil it though, but I got very, very excited. So actually, if you know anything about me, you'll probably be able to guess which large character I'm talking about. That's not iconic. But so yeah, I got it. I realized I enjoy the low. Dynazenon is a very low key series, and it's very much about the fact that these are a bunch of really emotionally damaged kids and one emotionally damaged adult. So I actually do enjoy that. It's just one of those things where you're comparing it to Gridman, which was all of that and just huge at the same time and bombastic. So in some ways they don't make a good comparison. Also the best kaiju design in the series so far, in my opinion.
Okay.
In this episode. No, it was a good one. Was there anything else of note?
Was there?
I watched the Slime anime. I've been killing slime for 300 years and maxed out my level.
Yeah.
That was just simple, enjoyable fun. But yeah, so that was.
It's a very easy show to watch with no stakes.
Yeah. It's just harmless fun. But yeah, that is my week basically. What about you, Andy?
I haven't done a huge amount. I did watch the hot spring beach episode, shall we call it, of Dynazenon last night. It was okay. I was thinking to myself, okay, nothing's happening still. We're nearly at the halfway point, and now you tell me we are at the halfway point and they did something. So okay, that's good. I was hoping that would be the case. Because it was about time that something kind of started kicking off, because we're going a bit on the slow side. I've been watching people play through Resident Evil 8 recently, so I've been keeping up to date with that for the most part. I haven't finished watching a walkthrough yet. It seems to play a lot like Resident Evil 7, so if you didn't like how the gunplay were handled in that, there's more of it. And with enemies that bob and weave a lot more, which is a little bit concerning. The guy who I'm watching is playing it on hardcore mode, and it seems like there are significant spikes in the difficulty at random points. It's probably the difficulty you should play on, because a lot of people have been saying that normal mode is a breeze. Pardon. So it's interesting. Not a game that I would ever want to play, so I don't mind watching a playthrough of it, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
I haven't watched anything else. I don't think I've really watched anything else I can think of off the top of my head. The rest of the week has been scrubbing Nighthaunt models, spraying the Nighthaunt models, and cleaning up mold lines and extra sprue parts on the Nighthaunt models. And I've done a little bit of painting as well on them as well during my free time. And then just streaming, streaming Dojimons and streaming... Dojimons and streaming Warriors Orochi 4. And that's been pretty much the week. It's been eaten up by that. Mr. Jai was kind enough to buy me, and then I paid him back for the Cobra Trooper from the classified line, because it came randomly into stock on Kapow. So I have one of them now. He's nice. He's obviously not as good as the Cobra Island version, which has way more accessories, but I do have the figure now, at least, which is nice. I think that's it. I don't think there was a real big oomph of anything of real sexy nature. Because I talked about finishing off... I was going to call it Independence Day, but it's not. Invincible. We finished that last week, didn't we? So...
Yeah, you weren't crazy about it, if I remember.
No, that's right, yeah. I still see people saying it's an amazing show, and I'm like, okay, I don't see it. Yeah, I think that's it. I don't think there's really anything else. It's been a pretty low-key week, shall we say. I did a podcast with George earlier today for the Fluff and Hammer, and I'd say that's probably about it, to be honest. Lots of stuff, but nothing very interesting, I'm afraid. I'm sorry. I have a load of animes to watch. I just hadn't got around to watching them. So by next week, I'll have some more animes to watch. We do have some messages, though, on the Facebook, Mr. Mikey.
Yeah.
So let's have a look. Simon Tang has 4 messages. Okay, so let's start off with the first one. Hi, Mikey/Andy. That's our child's name, Mikey. Enjoy the discussion about rising Transformer costs. I agree with your comments. Simply put, I want cool robot toys. That's fair. It might be I or 2. Maybe I acknowledge that the in brackets the mainline Transformer figures has improved quality, e.g., better paint, decos, improved articulation, reasonable packaging. But there are things that I find vexing. Number 1. There we go. Higher costs, but still repeat the same characters. we've mentioned this like Optimus Prime and whatnot many times over. We mentioned it in the show, in fact. Who knew?
Yes.
I don't mind paying more, but I want to see something new. New characters. I really like the animal themes in the Robots in Disguise. I assume that means like Stinkor and
yeah, but you could also say like maybe just like
Darkscream.
general Robots in Disguise.
Oh, that's true. Yeah,
And we are in animal themes at the moment, which is a definite change.
Yes, partially.
You have that Earthrise story out again.
It's exactly how I feel about Mazinger Z. Oh, that's interesting.
I will say I think Mazinger might be a more extreme example because what you've got Z, great, Majin Kaiser.
Yep.
At a stretch, you could say Skull is different, but let's be honest.
Yeah.
Shin's the same design as Z, isn't it? It's not actually like I know there's a bit of updating, but it's basically just the original.
Maybe I'm not entirely sure, to be honest.
So, and because I would be very surprised if they did any of the enemies in Mazinger.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
like,
Japan doesn't usually make bad guys.
They
for the
don't
most
even
part.
do Minerva or Daphne or any of those, do they?
No.
Or Aphrodite?
No.
Or, well, they do, but not in a figure line that many of us would like to admit to buying.
Oh no.
Oh no.
Oh
Yes.
no.
So yeah, it is one of those things where like Mazinger is a very extreme example of the Optimus Prime syndrome.
Oh no, that's true. Yeah,
because you don't have any other options.
Hero character only, nothing else. 2, no compelling story. We are repeating the same story for the last 30 years plus. I bore of it, and I think young kids are interested. I'm assuming I don't think young kids are interested. And I see other people having observed that you do not see kids seeking out Transformers toys. Oh, that's interesting. I only see adults looking at them, or parents looking at them while they're in the sales aisle. It's a rare to see a kid 9 to 15 in a toy aisle. I don't think that's unfair to say. You know, I think kids around that age are usually much more into either consoles or gaming or stuff like that.
Their parents go to buy their toys. Mm-hmm. But I would say in general nowadays it's very rare to see a child in a toy aisle. If I went to a Smith's or something like that, 80% of who you see there is someone in their minimum 20s.
Yeah.
And like that's maybe just because they're parents and they're buying stuff for their kid, or maybe because they're collectors, whatever. But like the child wandering in to have a look at the toys and pick out the ones for themselves, I think that day is gone. Especially with online shopping, and it's kind of difficult to tell if children are interested in the story because like every new show is trying to draw in like new viewers. It's never really for someone who's been there. Like as much as we like to say like Cyberverse or Prime or whatever tries to keep existing fans interested, they're not like their goal is not to draw us in. So I actually think like it's one of those things. It's difficult to judge where kids are at with Transformers because they're the one demographic that kind of matter the most, and we never hear about.
It seems like the case, yeah. Yeah, we have no idea what the sales figures on kids' toys are these days. Like, are the kids buying them for kids? Or, like you say,
I remember from like 4 or 5 years ago, there was something that said like we'd risen to a 10% of the demographic.
Yeah, which is not really a good thing.
No.
Unfortunately. Number 3 is accessibility. Funds are limited. You can relatively buy Transformers with ease, whereas other lines such as SH Figuarts, Diaclone Reboot, and Mafex are limited. I would like to prioritize these other lines first. I would like to use my funds to try out new things. Oh, that's good. At the end of the day, most Transformers figures are a known quantity. I think that's fair to say as well. Yeah, you're not usually having to scream, "Oh God, I missed the pre-orders on this Transformer." For the most part, the only one I can really think of that caused an issue was probably Unicron, but that was £1,000, so or more than that actually. What do you think about that, Mikey?
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
Yeah, some interesting points raised here, Mr. Simon Tang, I would say. Christoph also goes, Mikey! This is a lot of exclamation marks in capital letters, my Mr. Mikey. IDWTMNT, who do you think will win Battle of the Band?
Oh,
singular,
God,
not multiples.
For anyone who doesn't know, that's a current story arc, which is Jenny the Turtle and her group of a band trying to chase Bebop, Rocksteady, and their mutant raptor son out of a nightclub. Being played quite seriously, because it's also tying into, like, you need to win this or else you're going to go on and murder Karai and we're all going to fall apart.
Oh, wow. It's intense.
Yeah, no, IDW Turtles does very little that's not.
Weird.
Still, I don't know how they've managed to stay good after over 100 issues.
Oh, you just get good writers, I guess.
Yeah, but that doesn't make sense. Everyone else fails.
Oh, man. That was something we did this week. I got the Patreon show up, finally, even though I fucked up. And we recorded the comic show, which was very short. We're going to be doing another one for this month, because that was the previous month. And we'll be covering Volume 3, I guess, of Immortal Hulk, which is good, because we didn't get to do that many issues for Immortal Hulk this month because of the way that we clearly kind of... Or the way... it was listed weird, wasn't it, before?
Yeah,
the issue numbers. So, we only covered 2 issues for Immortal Hulk this week, or month,
3.
or last month.
We got 3.
Oh, 3. Okay, my bad. Yeah. We have a message as well from Tenomon4. Minor spoilers, I guess, but as far as, in quotations, big fan of sexy bug people, I'm really looking forward to more Invincible. Because I've read ahead and I can't wait to see the look on normal people's faces. Good, because my face will probably be very stoic, as I'm not... This is why I'm not...
Invincible sexy bug.
I'm not a big reaction person. It's why I could never do those reaction videos online, because my reaction would just be like, okay. Yeah. Also, it's pretty funny how shit they made Mark's girlfriend in the show, whereas in the comic she was just oblivious blonde who thought he was a drug dealer as part of a ringing gag. That's way better.
All right. So apparently there's a planet full of insect people. I don't see any of them looking particularly sexy, but...
It's interesting. That's what you were looking for specifically, Mikey.
I'm just Googling. I'm trying to figure out what he's talking about.
He's just Googling.
Also, apparently there's more than one Invincible, going by this picture.
Yeah.
I read only a little bit of the comics, so
No, I prefer the idea that Mark's girlfriend was actually thinking he was a drug dealer, and it makes a bit more sense than thinking or pretending that she out of nowhere knows that he was invincible, which again still doesn't make any sense for the context of the story or what she'd previously said. And she's an awful person, which I said before.
I just, for what little I know of the story, it has no interest to me.
That's fair. And the two... Sorry, were you going to say something?
No, go ahead.
And the two good parts, the two good things about Falcon and Winter Soldier was they did not pointlessly kill off Baron Zemo after building him up, which is, I would say that's a change. And I really like Sam as the new Captain America, spelled Amerika.
America. That's more the Russian version, surely. Captain America.
Exactly. The rest was meh or crap, like pointlessly killing a character. I'm not going to mention who it is.
Was it actually Zemo?
No, it's not actually Zemo. It's a different character.
Are you misleading us, but was it Zemo?
No. It was the character that magically had a chair teleported in front of them to deflect a shield, shall we say. Which was a really fucking terrible edit in an episode. Like, he's having a fight with said character. There is no chair in front of him. Next shot. Right. Chair appears, he kicks the shield up into the air and it deflects the shield.
Cool.
The shield, Captain America's shield?
Yeah, but it's not being thrown by Captain America? So no superpowers?
I guess, but still, it's one of those things again, like, why would you give it to Sam? He's just a man.
Well, because Falcon had it in the comics.
Yeah, but why would you give it to Sam? He's just a man. It makes sense why you give it to Bucky.
Symbol.
He has a robot arm.
He's a symbol. They gave it to Bucky in the comics, and that went horribly.
No, that was a good run.
No, yeah, but he was a terrible person.
Yeah, but that's what made it also a good thing. Also, he had a robot arm, so he could actually throw it. Not exactly the same as Steve, but he could throw with some effort.
Falcon's got robot wings and a psychic falcon.
Not in the Marvel universe. He has a drone.
He should have a psychic falcon.
I know. I like the stupid bird. It was fun.
Yeah. I've just never liked their take on the Captain America suit for him. It's like way too much white.
You mean for Falcon?
Yeah. Like,
it looks silly.
Way too much white. Way too much white. Like,
yeah.
Having the blue center around the white and having the white as highlights works. Having like the entire top half from his face mask down be kind of white just I don't think it looks good.
The Falcon suit is something that should have stayed in the comic because it's a very silly looking outfit, to be fair. It always looks silly. I think it looks fine in a comic. I don't think in reality it looks good. It looks silly. Why would you have your hair coming out the top of your outfit?
Well, lots of suits do.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean they work in the real world. That means they work in a comic book, because comic books aren't real. And there's a very different thing between, hey, this looks cool in a comic, and this looks cool in reality.
You're just mad because you wouldn't be able to get, your hair would be out and everyone would say, hi, Andy.
I wouldn't do it. I'd be too lazy to be a hero as well. I'd much prefer to be a villain.
You'd be too lazy to be a villain.
That's true. It's true.
I've got an email here, if that's all.
Oh, okay, yeah.
From Andreas. So, hello, Moonbase 2. I'm back at anime viewing update and question. So, I watched all 50 episodes of Gundam Seed Destiny, and that was a waste of everyone's time.
Yeah.
And I'm saying this as a fan of Gundam Seed.
Oh, yeah, I mean, even if you like Seed, it's generally like, wow, what the fuck did they do with Seed Destiny? Jesus Christ.
Yeah, I think what made it a bad show is that it completely rehashed the plot of Seed, yes.
Yeah.
And no one acted like their previous selves. No.
Yeah.
Also, the plan of every bad guy in this universe seems to be mass genocide. The plan of every bad guy in every Gundam universe or story is mass genocide, because every Gundam show wants to be 1978.
I mean, you gotta do something with your time, so you may as well kill everybody, right?
Gundam is a little too locked into tropes.
Yeah, build fighters.
Granted, there are exceptions, but even then, they wanted, evil superpower toys. But at the end of it, most Gundam shows are really locked into having the same 5 tropes that they have to touch on. Hey, colonies. That's a nice looking colony you've got there. Be a shame if something happened to it.
Be a shame if I crashed it into Earth again.
Specifically Australia.
Yeah, well, you know.
I should also say I started watching Konosuba. It's got a few chuckles out of me, but after you hyping it up, I was expecting more. You go to hell. Season 2, episode 8 was hilarious, though. The whole show is. And I should apologize to me and the wonderful people who create Konosuba.
See, Mikey, here's the thing. I didn't get that Megamine Darkness. I knew Darkness was a sex joke. I didn't know Megamine was a sex joke. And I didn't even think that Aqua was a sex joke, but they are.
Yeah, of course. Aqua's the best.
Aqua's always wet. So, yeah. And Megamine gets limp after one explosion.
Yeah.
I didn't realize. Someone said that in the video. I was like, oh, why didn't I see this? Why didn't I understand?
Because you can't sexualize Aqua.
I can't sexualize Megamine.
No, but everyone
She's
can sexualize Darkness because she does not give you a fucking choice.
No, that's true.
But Aqua's the best.
No, well, I mean,
Aqua's
bad choices.
Girl. Aqua did nothing wrong.
She did everything. She's an awful
Aqua
person.
did nothing wrong.
I worry for the choices you make for girlfriends in the future, Mikey. I don't want you to pick someone like Aqua. I want you to someone who would be nice to you.
No, I think we'd be very happy.
No, she would be happy and you'd be in pain. You just wouldn't know it.
God bless. I love Aqua. Now,
where's season 3?
Yeah. Well, we got season 3 technically. Where's season 4?
Whatever. Where's the next season?
That movie was very good.
It was, but it's been out a while now. Where's the next season? Come on now.
Well, I think the guy who created Konosuba has another show being done.
I don't care.
Yeah, I need it. People said I should watch it because he did it, and I was just like, I'm really more interested in Konosuba.
Yeah, where is it more?
Yeah, and please don't say Isekai Quartet. That's not the same.
No. And there's enough material that's out there, manga and light novel wise, as far as I know.
I think the novels are the web novels at least are finished.
Oh, okay, yeah. So get on.
So they have an ending. Anyway. Seriously, if you can do 140 episodes of one show where nothing happens between arcs, you can finish Konosuba.
Is that dig at One Piece?
Well, that's the dig at the entire subgenre.
Oh, okay. Fair enough.
Because One Piece is on an episode 1011 or something. I'm not kidding.
I know. That's why I'm laughing.
Now, to the main question. The rules for our toy collections. Every collector seems to have them, even if they have I just buy what you like. It seems all rules have one goal. Limit the amount of resources we spend on our hobby, be it money, time, display, storage space, or so that we do not deplete the amount of understanding of our significant other for our hobby. 2 questions. Do you think every collector has rules that limit their spending? I certainly have. 2, do you think the collectors tend to come up with some particularly nitpicky and nonsensical rules just to limit their spending? Some of my nonsensical rules: Verka Master Grade Gunpla kits only.
Wow, a cheap way to go. I see.
Cheap.
Okay. Could have gone perfect grade. To be fair.
Yeah, no, like that is about as laser focused as you can get. Short of saying like only RX 78s.
Oh no, that's actually quite broad because there's a lot of RX 78s.
But yeah, I'm trying. Is there ever a car I really want?
No, not for me.
I kind of like the Faz just because it's ridiculous.
Okay.
But like, I don't even want the Verka crossbone because I'd rather get like a more toony crossbone. Also, I hear that kit's not very good. But just Lego Star Wars vehicles collect close to the minifig scale.
Okay. Yeah.
Characters must be Nemesis Prime, Cliffjumper, Skywarp, Cyclonus, or Galvatron.
Oh, okay.
I swear I don't know why I opposed those particular ones on myself or why I formulated them. They just came to be. Thank you for putting up my nonsense, Andreas. So, Andy, do you think every collector has rules to limit their spending habits?
I'd hope so. I'm sure there are people who don't, who just buy anything that comes out. I think there are people that will just buy anything that comes out as well, aren't there? Who want to be completionists.
I think that's part of their rules, to be honest. Like, if you have the finances and you have the sense of free... Like I said, listen to like other podcasts and you'll hear people who will buy every single toy that comes out of a line.
And sometimes not even ones that they really want.
Oh, no. I heard someone say on a show recently, like, I hate this. I'm buying it, but I hate it. Yeah.
Very different.
Interesting thing, I think everyone starts with no rules. I think everyone, they'll have something interesting, but once they get into the hobby, like, you'll buy everything, even if you don't like it, because you're early days.
I guess at that point you're testing the waters to find out what you do like at that point, right?
Yeah, because like I can say I did that, because when I really got into the hobby, it was 2007.
Yeah, I got a load of Binal Tech figures.
Yeah.
What a good choice that was.
I didn't buy all the line, but I think I bought like 60% of the original movie line.
Oh, yeah, I got a lot of the movie line as well.
I didn't even like the movie. I thought it was bad from day one.
Yeah, but it was like, I suppose the interesting thing about the movie line when it came out was it was very different.
Oh, very, very different. It was just like, it was also like, looking back on it, wow, they had no idea how to adapt those designs to toys.
I mean, no, they didn't until like at least Dark of the Moon.
Yeah, I tried for ages to get the movie Ramjet, and it was a terrible toy. But I was just like, oh my god, it's a weird repaint. I need that.
Was the movie Ramjet the big fat
the Voyager
the Starscream
with no hands?
Did it have a pointy head as well?
Yeah, no, it didn't.
It's just a normal head. Oh, wow.
I think a version of that mold was repainted at some point, but
that must have been, yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, I tried to get all of animated. I didn't because we didn't have it, but I wouldn't regret having all of animated. Like, I was very apologetic for the Voyager Starscream, but I wouldn't regret having all of animated. Looking back on it.
I still luckily have all of it. Well, for the most part, all of animated. There are a few ones like Blackout,
Do you have the BotCon set?
I do, because I went to that BotCon.
Yeah.
That was BotCon I was at.
That's when you were at.
Yeah, I went to arguably one of the best BotCons because it had one of the best sets.
Do you have Toxitron?
I do.
Good man.
Yeah.
He am no villain.
No, he good boy.
Yeah. So I think as you get older, you try to justify what you're spending your money on.
Well,
hopefully. Yeah. I certainly, like, you listen to me here, like, I don't buy that much anymore.
I think it's also because we not having the money means you got to be a bit more frugal, and I've always been a frugal bitch when it comes to money spending as well, for the most part. So
yeah. Do you think collectors tend to come up with particularly nitpicky and nonsensical rules to limit their spending?
I guess it depends it depends on what you consider nitpicky is. I guess because for them it might be a very important matter, but. For them, it might not be a big deal. Like, if it's not a Bumblebee, that's kind of nitpicky because this is a really good figure. But from their perspective, I really just want Bumblebees only, nothing else. I don't know. I suppose it depends on your perspective, doesn't it?
Like, I almost never buy a second use of a mold.
Yeah.
So that is something I...
Is that nitpicky, though?
Some people would say it is.
Yeah, I think that, again, that kind of dips into it's all about perspective at that point.
Yeah, it's a weird one. But, I wouldn't say like beyond like I just buy characters I like or toys that really look good. I basically refuse to just buy anything.
Yeah.
So it's a bit of a, I don't know, it's a bit of an odd one, I suppose. Like how do you define nonsense? Like I don't think the rules Andreas gives are nonsensical or nitpicky. I mean, I think you're missing out by not buying other master grades, but I think if that's what you're happy to get, if you like the Verka aesthetic, then go for it. It's not really like I prefer, like, you know, I like wild, I like weird, I like different, or I like, again, like characters from Gundam stuff that I think is really cool.
Yeah.
So I would, if I had the money on me right now, I would buy all the re-rise kits of the main characters and the villains, even if I don't think they might necessarily be amazing, because I don't think some of them are amazing.
No.
But I would love to have that little display on my shelves, you know?
You could get that in one point in the future as well, one day.
Yeah, absolutely, because one good thing about model kits is they don't tend to appreciate in price too crazily.
No.
But, yeah, I think, you know, if you only get Nemesis Primes, then go for it.
Yeah.
Like, if you only get Galvatrons, you have lived in a fucking dirt of toys. They're sitting there, like, standing next to the Mirage, desperately hoping for water, but...
One day there'll be a new one. And to be fair, there is a new Galvatron coming out, so the wait might be worth it, depending on how good that one is. Because who knows? Who knows till it actually comes out. Was that it for the question, or is that us done?
Yeah.
All right. I think then we're done for the show, Mr. Mikey. So where can people find you on the internet if you want them to?
You can find me on Twitter as Irish Paleo, and if you want to send us a message or send any comments or anything, it's themoonbase2@gmail.com, or Facebook or Twitter or Libsyn or Patreon or wherever you can send us some sort of smoke signal.
Yay!
And Yorgo.
You can find me on Twitter, CCTFW. YouTube is Cobra Commander TFW. You can find this podcast on the Moonbase 2 forums, Twitter, iTunes, Facebook, Libsyn, or YouTube as Moonbase 2 Transformers Podcast. You can find us as well on patreon.com/moonbase2. If you do $2 each month, you get the extended version from the Files of Teltron 2. You get it a week early, and you also get the Moonbase Woo Woo, where we talk about non-transformery things in more detail. And you can also find us on the ccbunker.weebly.com if you want to go that way as well. I'm on Twitch. I think I said that. If not, I'm on Twitch. CCTFW.
Live the dream.
Woo! So until then, Mr. Mikey, thank you very much, everybody, for coming in around and joining us and having a little listen to our woo-woo nonsense for this week. Maybe there'll be something next week. Maybe there won't be. Maybe the drought will continue. But, you know, we'll be here. We'll be talking about things, for better or for worse.
Nowhere to go.
Exactly. Isn't that fun? So until next time, everybody, thank you very much for coming on by, and we will catch you suckers next time.
Take care.
Bye.